What is cycling to you personally?
The bicycle is the most efficient mode of transport ever invented. We've got rockets going into space, we've got flying taxis, we've got all sorts of amazing technology, but the bike is still the most efficient mode of transport. And for most of us, when our parents ran behind us and let go, and we learned to ride our bike, we remember that sense of freedom that comes with riding and learning to ride a bike. So when I'm on the bike, it makes me happy. Yeah, and if it makes me happy, that's great, but I've met thousands of customers, the same thing has happened to them. This little bicycle, little Xiaobu, has made customers happy.
Yeah, speaking of that, the cute name Xiaobu in China. You went to China in January as part of the delegation with Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Tell me what you saw there. Which cities did you go to?
Well, we flew to Beijing and had a magnificent reception in Beijing, but it was non-stop. Then we flew from Beijing to Shanghai. Again, more magnificent interactions, interfaces, meetings, and then back home. I've had 20 years learning about Chinese culture, about different provinces, about different food, different culture. And it's been fun. But not enough people in the UK understand the opportunity. They don't understand China. And I wanted to go on the trip to encourage more businesses to go and see, realize this is exciting, opportunities are there, and you'll really enjoy the journey.
How many stores do you have in China now?
So now we have of our own branded store, Brompton Junction, we have 16, 17 of those stores, and they are in Hangzhou, Shanghai, Beijing, Nanjing, Chengdu, so tier 1 cities. Then we have independent bike shops, which don't only sell Brompton, they sell other brands, very passionate independent bike shops, one of them RE. And we probably have about 50 bike shops, independent bike shops selling across China. So still relatively small, because the experience is about that relationship with the customer.
Did you get to meet some of the Brompton customers in China during a trip there?
That's what I spend most of my time doing when I go to China. It's the most fun, because if I turn up to a city, a whole load of Brompton customers turn up and say, right, we're taking you on a bike ride, and we're going to go to a fantastic restaurant, it's local food, it's hot pot in Chengdu, it's delicious and spicy, and they take me in and show me their city. We are so proud of showing people our home.
And it's very interesting in China for the cycling culture there, because Brompton is considered kind of this entry ticket into some cycling community or club. Do you recognize that? And how do you fine-tune your strategy to dovetail with that?
I think you need to be a bit careful. Our job is to design and make a gorgeous, beautiful, useful product and care for our customers. If you try and be too clever, overthink, over-curate, you'll get it wrong. We're there to support our customers. The clubs, the activities are driven, managed by our customers. And yes, if you own a Brompton, you don't have to, but there is definitely an opportunity to meet new friends. I would say that we don't over-curate it. We leave it and support it, but it's not directly in our control.
But interestingly, do you think in the case of China, Brompton has evolved into this status-driven product?
I think everything that you own says something about you. I wouldn't say it's status, because
it's a symbol of middle class in China.
I would. It's a bit more refined than that. So, if you buy a Brompton, it will last you 30 or 40 years. That's an investment. So, you can justify that investment because it will last so long. So, it's about value, and it's about who you are and what lifestyle you want to live in the city. And I think increasingly in China, there is a move away from consumerism. I want to buy more, to buying less, buying better quality, and buying things that give experience, where it's not just about stuff, it's about memories, it's about friendship, it's about quality.
What is your strategy in China now?
Our strategy is to look after our customers. But the customer interprets that differently. In the UK, there are more customers using their bike as a mode of transport.
Yeah.
So let's say in the UK, transport day-to-day, 60%, maybe 65%, and 35-40% recreation. In China, it's probably 75% recreation, maybe 70% recreation, 25-30% transport. But interestingly, in Beijing and Shanghai, as the infrastructure is getting better and better, more and more people bought their Brompton. They're using it at the weekend. They're using it with friends. Then the summer comes, they're like, hey, why am I using it to go to work? It's only 6 kilometers. And so increasingly in cities across China, more people are using their Bromptons to go to work and to enjoy riding to work, or maybe they take the car or the metro and then they cycle home.
And how many of your bikes are sold to China every year? Do you have a number?
So we are selling around about 20,000, 22,000 bikes.
22,000 bikes to China every year?
Every year.
Wow.
But remember, there are 1.4 billion
Yeah.
people. So it's tiny.
So it is still tiny, isn't
Tiny.
it? So are you changing your strategy to boost your sales
No.
to China? No.
Organic growth. Warren Buffett, 15% a year steady. If you try to grow too fast, you have to look after the customers we have. So we might sell 20,000 customers, but we've got 150,000 customers to look after. And we need to care for them.
And all of your bikes are made in England? Here?
You've just seen it.
Yeah.
Every single one, made in London.
And what is made in London or made in England? What does it mean to you?
So we make our bikes here because this is where the Brompton was born. Our mission as a company is to create urban freedom for happier lives. It's not to create lots of profit for shareholders. Urban freedom, happier lives. And we make our bikes in London because that's where we started. But we're not, it doesn't say we will make bikes in London. That's not our mission. Urban freedom, happier lives. So we could make bikes in China. We could make bikes in Germany.
But have you seriously thought about it, moving probably a factory to China to reduce costs, or probably not China to some other countries?
The opportunity in China would be, the reduction in cost is relatively minor because the labour cost in a Brompton is between 10 and 15%. So most of the cost of the bike is the materials, the frame, all the parts. They will be the same cost in China as they would in London. So the labour cost, you might save a little bit, but it's small. It's more about, if we were ever to go down that road, it's actually because we have customers who are in China and love the bike. So if they love the bike, we can naturalise our brand and our bike for the China market. And if we were to get bigger, that's an option we could explore, but we are nowhere near that.
I also want to talk about geopolitical tensions with you, because you cited geopolitical uncertainty as one of the reasons for the recent drop in sales of Brompton. So how much is it impacting your business operations?
So funny enough, that's not quite right. So we have grown year on year. So our sales grew last year and our sales will grow this year. But for example, in the US, we have seen uncertainty with tariffs. And in any business, we've had uncertainty in the past with FX. We've got uncertainty with fuel cost. When there is uncertainty, you need to adjust. You need to be nimble. You need to move some of your planning. And for us, when we have uncertainty, we've had tariffs potentially up to 25% in the US. that means we become uncompetitive. It hasn't happened, but it's been threatened. So for us, investing in that uncertainty is too big a risk. So we're looking for more certainty.
Does it mean that you're going to move more of your sales to China or Germany?
So we have tier one markets, Germany, China. That will be where we are putting the principal investment and focus and energy of our business today. At the moment, the US is not a tier one market. It's a really important strategic market. We're growing and developing that market, just as we're growing and developing the UK. But you cannot, we're in 47 markets. You cannot be focused on 47 territories. You need to have some prioritization, hence China and Germany.
And is the conflict in the Middle East impacting your business too?
Well, actually we are, in some respects, fortunate in the midst of what is a real tragedy. We are not a heavy user of energy. And actually the amount of energy required to make a Brompton is relatively low. If we were making fertilizer, this would be a huge problem.
Yeah.
So yes, it will impact us. Yes, it will affect profitability because energy costs will go up, logistics costs will go up. Titanium, for example, that is quite high energy. Titanium costs will go up if this is sustained.
Yeah. So what is the future for Brompton then? What is the next step?
So I feel Brompton is a rather special business. We have a responsibility to 1.2 million customers. We can't go bust. What do all our customers do? We need to look after them. So we have this balance between being furiously innovative and also conservative. Innovation is risk, conservative is de-risk, and there's a tension there. So we'll continue to push boundaries and continue to evolve and develop our product. We want to try and do a better job at talking to a wider audience. If people don't know you exist, how can they consider you for their life? And that communication is through our existing customers and through events, through collaborations, through social media, trying to say to people, hey, you know, you learned to ride a bike. You haven't been on a bike since you were 16. Trust me, you're going to love it. Get on a bike, rent one, try one, hire one. See what fun it is, and then you can invest.